We have just left behind us the new port of Santorini Island, named Athenian Port. We're heading now towards those two volcanic mountains we can see just in front of us. To the right, the island called Nea Kameni, I was saying Greek, which is the newest earth in Europe. This is the place with the active volcano at the top where we're going hiking. That will be our second destination. And the island to the left, the volcanic island to the left, the island of Palea Kameni, meaning Old Burn Island. This is the place with the Bay of Thermal Springs. That will be our first destination. We will reach the Bay of Thermal Springs in a few minutes, in about 10 minutes. Then we'll have the opportunity to take a lot of pictures of this beautiful place. And then we're going to continue our boat trip towards the island we can see now straight ahead, the island of Nea Kameni, New Bern. Nea Kameni means New Bern. Where we're going hiking towards the top of the island. We're going to visit the active volcano, and during this hiking I'm going to give you information concerning geology and history of the whole complex of Santorini Islands. We will try to understand what Santorini is, how it was formed, and what exactly makes the whole complex of Santorini Islands so important geologically. Our boat trip will end at the small port named Ophira, named Old Port. The port we can see now to the right. Once upon a time that was the main and the only one port of the whole complex of Santorini Islands, but not anymore. Now there's a new port where we began our boat trip. So, we will be back at the old port of Ophira. After your vacation, you will have two options. First option is returning back to the cruise ship. There will be always a tender at the old port in order to return back on the cruise ship. Second option is by using the cable car tickets I will give you a little bit later, going for a walk around the village of Fira. You can go for a drink, for a coffee, for shopping, for a romantic dinner. You can spend in the village of Fira about 1 hour or 1 hour and a half. It depends on the line we will find at the entrance of the cable car up to the village of Fira. Okay, maybe we'll let you know later. For the moment, we are on our way to the island of Palea Kameni, named Old Burn, with the Bay of Thermal Springs. You will see that the Bay of Thermal Springs is located to the left of a very small chapel we will see in a few minutes, the chapel of St. Nicholas. The color of the water into the Bay of Thermal Springs is dark brown due to the sulfur and iron oxides it contains. Temperature of the water inside the bay is about 24 degrees Celsius. It's not too hot, while the seawater this period has temperature about 19 degrees Celsius. So we are talking about cold sea water. Okay. In that place, we're going to stop for a few minutes just for taking some pictures, and then we're going to continue our boat trip towards the island we can see now to the right, with the active volcano at the top. Thank you very much. Wishing you to enjoy our boat trip.
This is Gal on the Move. We are on the move. We are in Santorini today, going around the Greek islands. This is the last Greek island. We've been to a few of them, and I've done a video for you guys so you can look back on it. But today we're in Santorini, and this is the most picturesque islands on the Aegean Sea. As you heard from the tour guide, this here is still a live volcano, just here. What you can see, the black sort of lava, and so that's still alive, still live. and it can erupt anytime. That's one of the oldest ports. And then where we set off from is a new port. So we are on the move, and visiting countries. Today we are in Santorini, one of the most sought Greek islands, where 2 million visitors come every year. And I've always wanted to come here, but what put me off completely to begin with was the fact that flights are very irregular on the island. So sometimes the time when I inquired, there were about 2 or 3 flights in a week. So that has put me off completely. But I've always wanted to come to Santorini, and when this opportunity arose, I decided to come on board. Now you will notice that most of nearly all the properties, they're white. If you watch the videos, a couple of videos before this one, I did explain why. And apparently because it's very hot here, and the white domes, it's flat-roofed houses, and some of them have got domes which are painted blue. It's absolutely beautiful to look at, and also the white depicts purity as well as reflecting the light and leaving the properties nice and cool. That's one of the reasons they paint all the properties white. So it's a beautiful island, and the tour guide is going to continue at some point. I'm just filling in between, and we'll be going touring. We came on a big ship, but now we're on a little boat. So I'm on a cruise, fly back tomorrow back to England. This is the last excursion of the trip, and I'm really looking forward to, and this is one of the places, one of the islands I really wanted to come to. So we'll talk about it later. I might have to do a few facts about Santorini later. So see you in a more. From the volcano. So here, looking quite fresh. I don't know when the last eruption is. I'm going to ask. So look at that, very amazing. And people live here, and they build houses amongst all these craters and rocks, volcanic rocks. It's absolutely amazing how human beings can plonk themselves anywhere. I've no copyright to the music playing. As you can imagine, we're in a public place. Some people would like to listen to such music, so
what is a brown water?
Where the color becomes brown.
Yeah, what is it?
The thermal water,
Yeah.
where the color becomes brown because of the sulfur and iron. There was a man living on this island the last 20 years. He's dead this summer. He was feeling like the owner of, which is not legal, but
He what was?
but I have to get there if you prefer.
No, just
There was a man living on this island the last 20 years alone.
Oh.
He was feeling like the owner of the island, which is not legal. He's dead this summer.
Oh.
His house, private boat, and 400 animals.
Wow.
See, a friend of him is coming every day feeding the animals.
Wow. Which spot? This one?
Yeah.
The yellow one.
Yeah.
And this is white.
Is the white small chapel of Saint Nicholas,
Saint Nicholas.
built by him.
Uh-huh.
Oh,
Is it still used?
20 years ago?
The last 20 years, yes.
Wow.
And does it get used? No, it's not used anymore.
It's like a symbolic.
A symbolic thing. And what about that brown thing?
His home. That was his home.
Oh, so he had that
Yeah,
boat,
yeah.
and he died this year, did you say?
No, at the hospital.
It's
They
in
brought him
hospital at the moment.
Yeah, he was in.
And
No,
it's-
no, no. This summer was dead in the hospital.
Oh, he died in the hospital. Oh, bless him. So he started.
Can you see? No one is. Ah, okay. Some swimmers.
Show me something on the phone. Sorry, Gala,
Is there good snorkeling here?
Here, no, because you can see almost nothing because of the sulfur. It's very
Yes,
brown.
that's kind of strange.
Yes.
How long after a volcano like this does vegetation start
Sorry.
to grow on the hollow?
Especially this area, and because it never rains here, you can see
Oh.
only lava. This is the main problem. I will let you. I will explain to you later that the main problem of the whole complex is the lack of water. There's no water. It almost never rains. You can see. That's why the whole complex of Santorini Islands produces almost nothing.
Oh.
Nothing at all. Only good wine. And what makes Santorini wine so special? Two reasons. First, the volcanic environment, and then the lack of water. On the main island, all the vibes are very low because of that reason, and that makes especially the white dry wine so special. There are two qualities, brand names all over the world, like the Assyrtiko. You heard about this? If you are
Certified?
Assyrtiko is white dry wine. Assyrtiko is a very famous quality.
Kind of wine.
Wine
Yes,
from here.
Yeah, from here, the white wine of Santorini. And there's another wine named Vinsanto.
Oh.
This is the name of the red wine of Santorini. Vinsanto means vino, wine of Santorini.
Vinsanto. Uh-huh.
Okay, this is the red wine. This is the most expensive wine. Why? Because to produce a bottle of Vinsanto wine, we need about 13, 14 kilos of grapes.
Wow.
That's why. Okay. You can see that it almost never
Nothing.
rains.
There's no green.
It's always windy, but it never rains. Even during the winter, it's not cold. This is the cold. Okay, it's not much more colder than this. But the problem is the wind. Okay, it's extremely windy during the winter.
Wow. I suppose because there's no vegetation around.
The water, yes, there are. I will tell you later that on the main island we have 2 desalinization plants.
Oh.
That's how we are trying to desalinization. Okay, seawater, pumping the seawater and make it fresh water. That's why the water of Santorini is a very bad quality. This is a problem. Yeah, it's the only solution. There's no water, and Santorini water is not potable. We are drinking from the bottles.
So before cruise ships started coming here, was the population much, much smaller?
Yes, but listen, till 60, 70 years ago, this place was the poorest place, one of the poorest places in our country. Okay, and because of the development of tourism the last 50, 60 years, after the earthquake of 1956, because I will explain to you later that in 1956 there was an earthquake in this place, which is still considered as the worst earthquake, the most powerful earthquake in Europe. Yes, during the 20th century. A lot of dead people on the main island. Okay, after that,
1956.
completely destroyed the main island. That's why those two villages, village of Ia, and most famous Greek village, the village of Pira, we'll have the opportunity to visit later, are two modern villages because they are built, they were built in the last 50-60 years. Okay? There are two villages with modern infrastructure.
But so you can't grow food here. No food, you can't grow food. So when Santorini,
I told you. That's why the new port we began our boat trip was built 50 years ago. Before that there was the old port. We are going later. Okay, and the new port is very important for the whole complex, especially today because this place is one of the leaders of Greek tourism. You can see mid-October 4-5 cruise ships. This moment came, meaning that this is one of the leaders of Greek tourism, like Mykonos, like Rhodes, like Crete. Sorry. So, but we produce nothing. So all the locals and all the tourists, we need food, we need petrol, we need drinks, we need everything. So that's why the new port is so important.
but in the winter, if it's very windy, the waves are high.
There are periods of two. I live here the last 14 years. I spent two winter periods. There are periods of 2-3 weeks. You can find nothing fresh in the supermarket. Only spaghetti, okay? No fresh vegetables, no fresh meat, no fresh milk. It's a problem.
Yeah.
Living the winter here.
Wow.
Okay, even if it's international destination, but it's very hard living. But the winter lasts 2 months.
Oh.
January, February. Okay.
Deal.
And the problem during those 2 months is the wind.
Wow.
It's extremely windy.
But so, when Santorini was destroyed last time by earthquake,
Last time was destroyed by the earthquake of 1956. Completely destroyed.
before then.
Before that, I will tell you the whole story about the Minoan eruption. I will tell you the story in a few minutes.
Why were there people here if there was something else?
I will let you know. I'm going to tell you the
Okay.
whole history from beginning, from the first historical period. We are talking about the first historical period before the Minoan eruption of 3,600 years ago. This area was completely different.
Oh.
Just one island all around.
Oh.
No seawater. I will explain.
Oh, okay. Wow. Wow. Wow.
So, in a few minutes, we will embark on the island. After the minutes, we can follow me to the top. We're going to stop 3 points from the information. There is geology terrain. The best word for choose is a bottle of water with you. We'll go hiking. The distance we will walk is about 1 mile, meaning 1 kilometer, 300 meters. To the top, and it will take us more or less half an hour. Now you can follow for about 1 hour now.
This is Santorini, as you've heard, one of the Greek islands on the Aegean Sea. Here, apparently, I didn't know there was any place in the world where there's no rain, and apparently it doesn't rain at all. As you can see, the vegetation, there's no vegetation in the surroundings. There's no green still live. And people live up there. You see some white houses over there. So people live there. Very windy. I hope you can hear me. So we're going to dock in a minute and then go hiking on the volcano crater. And I'll take you along with me. This is Santorini, the most picturesque island, but they don't grow anything. The only thing that they grow here are grapes, and that's about it. And they produce the most expensive wine because a few kilograms of grapes can only produce very little wine. So that's the reason. And that wine, the two types of wine, which is explained already, the tour guide, and that's all you have. So nothing grows here. So you can imagine fresh produce and dairy would be very expensive. And they have water issues. Most of the islands have water issues where we've been. Roads, Mykonos, and now Santorini. Apparently they only have to drink bottled water, which they import. And you can imagine how expensive it is. Though very pretty, it's very difficult to live here and very expensive. We're going to dock in a minute and I'll see you in a moment. Human beings can live anywhere. Look at them. The volcano is around the corner and they decide to build houses on volcanic craters, the rocks, the volcanic rocks. Look at that. All those are white houses over there. Tourists, there's only one industry here, is tourism. So that's how they make money. They develop all the other things. So that's about it. Got all those ships dotted around there. There's one there, there's another one there, another one there, and another one there. So these big ocean liners, sort of for tourism and cargo, obviously. So the dwellings over there. All over there, the white bits are all dwellings. On the rocks, volcanic rocks and craters. See you in a more.
Cases erupted for the last time in January of 1950. That was the last eruption, January of 1950. The last eruption lasted more or less 1 month, so 43 people were dead on the main island of Tira after the last eruption because of breath problems due to the gases. Since 1950, the whole complex of Santorini Islands remains active but dormant. The first crater we come across, you can see that isn't active anymore, and this crater erupted for the first time about 430 years ago. This crater was underwater once upon a time, and erupted for the first time about 430 years ago. So the formation of this island began after that eruption about 430 years ago. Let's try to understand what we call Santorini today. Because Santorini today is not a unique island. Santorini once upon a time was a unique island, but not anymore. To understand what we call Santorini today, we need to know that there are two historical periods concerning the whole area. First historical period, before the big volcanic eruption of 3,600 years ago. We are talking about the Minoan eruption of 3,600 years ago. You heard about the Minoan eruption? Huh? That's cool. This is not mythology, it's historical. Okay, excellent. Still considered as the worst geological event ever in human history. And then there's a second historical period which begins just after the Minoan eruption of 3,600 years ago. If you want to imagine the whole complex of Santorini Islands during the first historical period, before the Minoan eruption of 3,600 years ago, so during that period the whole area was completely different. During the first historical period, we can see the whole area. There's no sea, there's no caldera. What is caldera? We call caldera the geological system formed by all these volcanic rocks on the main island and the seawater. This is the caldera of Santorini. So during the first historical period, before the Minoan eruption of 3,600 years ago, there's no caldera. There's just one island all around, named Strongili because of its shape, because Strongili in Greek means rounded. So the old island existing during the first historical period was almost rounded. There's no seawater, there's no caldera, there's just one island all around. And there was a mountain in the middle of this island, about 1 kilometer, 500 meters high. And there was an extremely advanced civilization thriving on the old Strongili Island during the first historical period. A civilization which was smaller but competitive to the famous Minoan civilization. I'm sure you heard at school about the Minoan civilization, extremely advanced too, which was thriving during the same historical period on the island of Crete. The island of Crete, which is about 80 miles away from Santorini, that direction south. You've been to Crete?
Yes.
Oh, excellent. Okay, all we can see now all around is the remains of the old Strongili Island after the Minoan eruption of 3,600 years ago, and because of that geological event, given the Minoan eruption by a supercrater. There are 5 supercraters all over the world, like Yellowstone, like Krakatoa, like New Zealand. You can see the whole Santorinian caldera as the main part of the supercrater that gave the Minoan eruption of 3,600 years ago. You can feel now into the mouth of a supercrater. A supercrater which is the only one on Earth which isn't active anymore, like Yellowstone, like Krakatoa, but still exists in a depth of about 2 kilometers under our feet. So we already have the main idea of the formation of Santorini Islands. What we can see now all around is the remains of the old Strongili Island after the Minoan eruption of 3,600 years ago, which consists of 3 islands. Bigger one, the most important, the island maybe you're going to visit later, named Tira. This is the island of Tira, main island of Santorini complex. Why we call this island Tira? Because for about 800 years after the Minoan eruption, the whole complex remains inhabited. First inhabitant of this island after about 800 years was the king of ancient Sparta, King Tiras. That's why we call this island Tira. And its first capital after the period of the big eruption was the village of ancient Tira, the other side of the island, close to Kamari, up to the hill. It's very enjoyable and very interesting walking up there. It's a good motivation for coming. Θα ανεβείτε πάνω, κορίτσια?
Ναι.
Γρήγορα όμως.
Ναι, γι' αυτό θα πρέπει.
Και άμα δεν τις φέρνετε και κιόλας πίσω, έτσι.
Ναι.
Ευχαριστώ. Ναι, γιατί μην έχουμε. Θα μας φωνάξουν.
How much
Ναι.
Time before I wanted to walk.
They are going to bring them back because.
That just means you have to come back.
So, it's a good motivation, the ancient Tira, for coming back and visiting Santorini. Today's capital, the village of Fira, the place we can visit later. Okay, the village of Fira, which is the capital and commercial center of the whole complex of Santorini Islands since the beginning of the previous century. Second island remained after the Minoan eruption, which was also part of the old Songili Island during the first historical period. The island with a small white village at the top, named Tirasia. According to Greek history, Tirasia was the name of King Tira's daughter. Tira, Tirasia, father and daughter. Listen, on Tirasia Island, they live today about, in that small village at the top, named Manolas, which is the capital of Tirasia Island, they live today about 250 inhabitants, who are farmers and fishermen. The island of Tirasia is not at all touristic area. Quiet, very quiet. So close to an island which is the leader, one of the leaders of Greek tourism, like Mykonos, like Rhodes, like Crete. But Tirasia Island is the opposite, not at all touristic area. Sounds a little bit strange, but it's true that on this small, not touristic island, there is the only one 7 stars Greek hotel named Hideaway. You can find the pictures on internet. Hideaway Hotel, which is impossible to approach it on foot or by car. You can only approach it by helicopter or by private boat, but the private boat is including the price of 14,000 euros, which is the basis of the cost. Depends on the services per one night. Logical that this is a place that are choosing a lot of very famous, extremely famous people from all over the world in order to spend their holidays in there. To understand the level of the guests, we're talking about Michael Jordan, the famous NBA star 4 years ago, Angelina Jolie, and many others of this level. You can find the pictures of this hotel, Tirasia Island Hideaway Hotel. There's an underwater bedroom. just to know. And then the other side, there's a small inhabited island, just a rock, which was we could see it from the top if you head down. Just a rock, which was also part of the old Songili Island during the first historical period, named Aspronisi, house in Greek, meaning white island. Why we call this small inhabited island White Island? Because it's formed by white pumice stone on a basis of lava rock. Those 3 islands, main island of Tira, island of Tirasia, father, daughter, and the White Island, the other side, were part of the old Songili Island during the first historical period. The missing part of the old Songili Island after the Minoan eruption of 3,600 years ago sank, collapsed to the bottom of the sea in a depth between 500 and 600 meters. This is the deepest points of Santorini and caldera, between 500 and 600 meters. We are talking about the deepest caldera all over the world. Sounds incredible, but this is the true story. The main idea, a whole island collapsed, a mountain about 1 kilometer, 500 meters high, collapsed because of a geological event. And that exactly makes the whole complex of Santorini Islands so important geologically. The question is, what really happens with all this huge volcanic energy during the second historical period after the Minoan eruption? The answer is that obviously this energy is always here, and this energy has continued to create geological, is our friend, and obviously it has continued to create geological events throughout the years. That's how it was formed about 2,000 years ago, after a unique volcanic eruption, the other volcanic island, which we will visit next for the swimming experience. No, the island we were before for the swimming experience, the island of Old Burn, formed 2,000 years ago after a unique volcanic eruption, which isn't active anymore. And the same volcanic energy still remains the reason of the formation of a new burnt island the last 430 years, but in 6 different time periods. And especially New Burnt Island will continue in the future, changing its shape because still remains an active volcanic center. On the other hand, the Old Burnt Island we were before isn't active anymore. We already have an idea of what we call Santorini today. For sure it's going to change in the future, we don't know when. So Santorini today is a complex formed by those 5 islands plus the sea, the caldera of Santorini. 3 islands remained on the region after the Minoan eruption that were part of the Old Songili Island during the first historical period, the island of Tira, island of Tirasia, Father, Daughter, and the White Island, plus those 2 volcanic islands, 2 mountains of lava. Old Burnt Island, we were before, formed more or less 2,000 years ago after a unique volcanic eruption and which isn't active anymore. New Burnt still creating the last 430 years. That's what we call Santorini today. Let me give you information which will be useful if you're planning to coming back and visit Santorini, because today is just for taking an idea of what Santorini is. So the best period for coming back and visit Santorini is now, October, or then April, May, for 3 reasons. First reason is weather conditions are perfect. Almost, okay, darkness is earlier, but weather conditions are almost summer weather conditions, almost. Okay, we can go to the beach, we can do everything. Secondly, it's not so crowded. During the summer months, I mean June, July, August, even September, which is considered as a summer month, you don't want to know. Impossible walking up here. Thousands of people, tourists every day. Okay, and then third reason, prices. Those 2 periods, October, November, and then April, May, are considered as the low seasons, so you can enjoy same services, paying less, even half. Very interesting, huh? So, if you're planning to come back and visit Santorini, choose, for me, best month is October. After the summer is a perfect month for visiting Santorini. You can do anything you want on this island, and there are a lot of activities like go sailing. If you are wine lovers, this is a place of the wine. We produce nothing else, only wine. 14 wineries of high quality. Museums, historical museums like the archaeological site of Akrotiri, which is the 2nd most important Greek museum. Greek museum after the Museum of Acropolis in Athens. You've been in Athens, right?
Yes.
Okay, you've been to Acropolis, to the museum. The Museum of Santorini, archaeological site of Akrotiri, is the 2nd most important Greek museum. In that place, you can take a lot of information concerning an extremely advanced civilization thriving on the old Strongili Island. We are talking about the period of time of 4,000-5,000 years ago. And then there's the modern Museum of Santorini, named Lost Atlantis Museum, something very new and very exciting. A modern way of presenting the history is a kind named Lost Atlantis Museum, which is a kind of 3D movie with moving chairs, just for taking the feeling of a huge geological event. The concept of the modern Museum of Santorini is not listening to the story like we do maybe now, trying to live the story. We're better understanding what exactly happened in this area so many years ago. So there are a lot of activities. If you can spend the average stay in Santorini is about 3-4 days is enough. You can combine with visiting another island around like Mykonos, like Paros, like Naxos, Folegandros, and a few days in Athens. The usual schedule for Americans is about 2 weeks, spending in Mykonos, Santorini, and Athens. Okay. If you have questions, you don't have time to.
So a dormant volcano will still give smoke?
Just a smoking one place. The point is a smoking point, and you have the smell of
The
sulfur.
sulfur. Where would you say that smoke that you've seen a point? with
It's up
smoke?
there, but it's
You don't
imagine.
know where. Okay. Nice.
So if you want to return back on board because it's already.
Should we leave
6:30.
without them or do
No, I have to wait.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Yes. Hopefully they'll come back soon.
Yeah.
Everything those two went to get
Yeah.
Yeah.
Are you going to university or school?
I'm homeschooled.
Okay. Excellent.
That's why I know so much about Greek mythology, because I chose what the lower is.
Okay. So you can choose some lessons and.
That's why we made the trip. I'm her grandmother, and that was
You look like.
first big gift.
Oh, okay.
And she's going to be 13 years of this trip when we go home, and to put it all together.
This is Gal on the Move. You've heard the history of Santorini from the guide. We've just hiked up to the mountains, and this is the surrounding up here on the mountain. Absolutely, it's just full of crater, volcanic rocks, and that sort of thing. There's no trees, no. Okay, there's a little bit of grass like that, but there's nothing here. No trees, nothing. They don't grow anything apart from grapes, and so that's the only industry here. They have to drink bottled water. You can't drink, though they have tried to get seawater and purify it and try, but it's not suitable for drinking. Maybe for bathing, but not for drinking. And so it must be very hard. Apparently in the winter the shops, the grocery stores would be empty. No fresh produce, no meat or anything like that apart from dry pasta. And the winter months are just January and February, which is just 2 months. The rest of the year it's dry. Even winter, the temperatures, I don't think they go below 10 degrees. So you've heard about, look how picturesque the area is. Those up there houses, people live up there. The white little dots you see on the mountains are dwellings. People live there. So, this is Gal on the Move. We are on the move in Santorini, one of the Greek islands, where it does not rain at all throughout the year. It's beautiful, but not very habitable. But people do live here. The population is obviously small. Look over the hills there, those are all dwellings above there. This is Gal on the Move. Subscribe to my channel. We are on the move. I hope you've enjoyed the video of Santorini. We'll be sailing tonight back to Athens and catching my flight tomorrow back to Manchester. I think that ends the video and the tour of the Greek islands. I hope you enjoy all of them, and I shall see you in the next one. It's Gal on the Move. We are on the move. Please subscribe to my channel. If you're new here, welcome. And if you're a returning subscriber, please keep supporting me. and click the like button. It's Gal on the Move, we're on the move. This is Santorini. All the big liners there. Over there. They were docked here. There's a lot of it because that's the one of the industry. That's the only industry I think is tourism here. So there's all these liners. One of these, I think it's this one in the middle here. They discovered it as ours. We had to take little boats from there to bring us to the island, to show. So look at that. That's Santorini. Bye for now.